Yavapai Broadcasting and the City of Cottonwood proudly present Inside Cottonwood, an inside look at the decisions and issues of the City of Cottonwood. Brought to you by Arizona Smile Designers. Here's Cottonwood City Manager Doug Bartosh.
Hello, and welcome to Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host and City Manager Doug Bartosh, and I have with me today Lindsay Higginson, who is the fairly new president of the Old Town Association. And I also need to tell the people that you're with Pillsbury Winery, with a tasting room down there in the larger winery, and she's the general manager and partner with Pillsbury. And then also our economic development manager, Casey Rooney. And what we want to do is talk a little bit today about what's happening in the city generally related to economic development, but also there has been just an amazing transformation of Old Town, and so I think that's a nice piece for us as well. And to kind of frame this, I think it's important to recognize that Cottonwood's always done a pretty good job of creating economic development and diversifying that development in terms of providing retail, providing employment, professional medical industry. The one thing we were always missing out on was tourism. People would go to Jerome, they would go to Sedona, they'd drive through Cottonwood, but they would never stop. And we needed a way to make that happen. And a lot of good things have happened down in Old Town, and I think one of them has been the wine tasting rooms, but we're just seeing tremendous development down there. So you've been here, what, probably 3
years now.
3 years?
3 years.
What have you seen during that time, Lindsay?
Well, it's just a total transformation of the street. Not only are the attitude has changed, we have tourism coming through. We know that now because we actually, find out where people are coming from, the zip codes, and it's amazing. All over the state, San Diego, Las Vegas, Kingman, Lake Havasu. We have a really good mix of people, and Casey and I in the spring in 2012 actually walked the street, and we wanted to take a snapshot. We were looking at a grant for Old Town, and we wanted to take a snapshot from 1995 to 2005 to 2012. And I won't go into all the details, but from 2005 to 2012, we figured that there was over an addition of 100 jobs on the street. New businesses, increased businesses. It was a really, really exciting thing. And that's one of the reasons why I love being part of the OTA now, is that I can work with this. The merchants are unifying beautifully. They know that this is where the money's going to come from, and it's going to actually support the community.
And that's a good point. I think that's one of the things that's just proven so successful down in Old Town is the synergy of the shop owners down there. They all cooperate fairly well together. They help each other out. They purchase from each other, and I think that's gone a long way to really build the kind of that tourist destination down there. I
think another important thing is there's a movement in Arizona. It's called Local First Arizona, and it's very important that we buy locally because 63% of every dollar stays in town as opposed to the big box stores. Not that we don't need them, but this is a real important part of our economy.
And you've obviously been talking to Kimber Lanning.
Indeed, indeed.
And Kimber Lanning is a great partner for us here in Cottonwood and in the Old Town area in particular. And she's telling us that hopefully she's going to be able to open an office up here. So we hope that
soon
that comes true, because she's a great ally for us. So I know the board of the Old Town Association has just recently kind of changed over.
It has. There are 7 new members out of 9. And there's a lot of activity going on. We're going to be doing a new website, which is geared to tourism. That's the important thing. And a lot more information. We're going to try and combine all the city events, the OTA events, so that we have one place where everyone can go and get all the information.
That's great. So I know that's one of the things you're talking about. What are some of the other goals for the new board?
Well, I think that we want to get more of the merchants involved in OTA. It has been a little hit or miss, but we have had amazing support in the last 2 months that we've been around. We're doing a newsletter so that we combined all of these, things that are going on in each one of the merchants' different venues. And it's now getting to the point where we're doing groups. We're going to be doing things with the antiques, arts, and books. We're going to be doing things with the wineries, the restaurants. We have over 10 restaurants in town, all of different varieties. So all of this we're going to advertise and specialize, but still under the same, umbrella of Historic Old Town Cottonwood.
I think we should certainly recognize the past board too. Lisa Pender,
absolutely.
Tricia from Orion Bread Company, Annabelle from Annabelle, and
Nick Hunsitter.
Yep, and I think they took it to the next level. And I really look towards this board. I think you guys have got some great potential to really expand it even further.
Well, and we're hoping so. And I want to say that the old board is making the transition extremely easy. We really think Lisa is still working with us on Chocolate Walk. It's making a really easy transition for the town, I think.
Sorry, guys. My phone. And that brings up a couple of things. We've had some great events down there this fall, Thunder Valley Rally. We had Rhythm and Ribs here in town. And then the other night, I was down there. I know Lindsay was down there for our kind of safe event Halloween night and our fall festival. It was absolutely incredible. And talk a little bit about that and the amount of candy you passed out.
Well, actually, this year we bought in bulk. The OTA supports the merchants and supports the stash that they have. So they buy candy, and then we try and give them each additional 25 pounds. Well, we bought about 750 pounds of candy, and I know that next year it's going to be well over 1,000 pounds because we're running out. So we know that we have at least 1,000 children down there. Plus the city has a fall festival, which is terrific. That's support. So the city is just aglow with all of this stuff, and they work with Clarkdale. They go into Clarkdale. So we have our own little Halloween party. It's just wonderful.
It really is. And for those of you who were down there, one of the things I noticed that the city will try to work on is a little more traffic and make sure we don't have any tragedies related to the conflict between vehicles and pedestrians. The next event coming up is Walking on Main.
Right, in about a week.
And talk about that a little bit.
Well, this is a celebration of Historic 89A, and they have done a wonderful thing this year in that they've done a lot of PR. We have a juried art show. There's the Hot Rod and Classic Car show. The wine tasting, live blues and jazz all through the day. It's from 5 to 8, I believe. No, 11 to 8. On, 11 to 5, excuse me.
It's one of those times.
It's sometime that Saturday, November the 10th. But it's going to be the street's going to be closed. And this is a celebration of the historic 89A. And it is going to be alive and fun. All the shops will be open. There'll be a lot of things going on.
So let's clarify that. On November 10th,
yes,
11 to 5. In Old Town Cottonwood. And then actually just a plug, the next day we have a professional disc golf association sanctioned disc golf tournament over by Riverfront Park. So it'll be an exciting weekend next weekend. So rest up this weekend and then come on out and join us next weekend.
One other thing I should say too is every weekend there is live music in 5 or 6 different venues. There's all kinds of restaurant and happy hour specials. So there's a lot always going on to back up all of these festivals.
Let's go ahead and take our first break, and then I want to come back and talk about Chocolate Walk and the impact on Old Town for the rest of the city. So come back and join us.
Meet the team at Arizona Smile Designers, offering complete comprehensive, restorative, and aesthetic dentistry. Dr. Vergara and Dr. Lord specialize in dental health, implants, and cosmetic dental procedures. Expert staff and state-of-the-art equipment bring forth the most from your smile. Dr. Ripplinger conveniently comes to Arizona Smile Designers for oral surgery and complicated procedures. Visit Arizona Smile Designers at 350 South Willard in Cottonwood. Insurance and new patients are welcome. Call 634-8610.
Thousands of fires across the United States are caused by careless people. Hi, I'm Fire Marshal Rick Contreras with the Cottonwood Fire Department. The major threat of human-caused fires are from burning debris that get out of control or improperly extinguished or unattended campfires. Remember that fireworks have no place on our wild lands. Become part of the solution. Learn more about proper fire safety by contacting the local fire department.
Is it going to cost me money? No, not this time.
Welcome back to Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host, Doug Bartosh, and I'm here with Lindsay Higginson, who's the new Old Town Association president, and also our economic development manager, Casey Rooney. So when we left, we were talking about events in Old Town, and the next one after Walking on Main, which is November 10th.
It is.
11 to 5. And so the next event is
Chocolate Walk, which is our annual event. It's very, very popular. If you haven't gotten your ticket, please go to oldtown.org to get a ticket. We sell out. We're usually out by the middle of November. It is wonderful. The merchants actually hand make candies for this event. There are over 36 different merchants, so it's a lot of fun. There's lighting of the tree, music, all kinds of wonderful things. And we have also added this year a mayor's cup. So we're going to jury all of this. All the chocolates will be judged by a well-known chef, Tracy Dempsey. She's well-known. She's in a lot of the different restaurants with desserts and pastries. And the mayors of our own mayor, Mayor Jones, the mayor of Clarkdale, Jerome, and possibly Sedona. So we're going to have this, and one of the merchants will win the grand prize. And this is the first year of the Mayor's Cup. So anyway, after that, there is also going to be a VIP event, which is going to be Friday night. That'll be November 30th, and it is for a wine and chocolate pairing at each one of the 4 tasting rooms. So, and tickets are available for that as well.
And how much are those tickets?
The tickets for a couple for the VIP event are $40, and the Chocolate Walk ticket is $25.
Okay. I'm asking for myself.
I know.
Definitely want to.
Should I hold one for you?
Definitely. And let me tell you that the Chocolate Walk, how many merchants are participating?
At least 36 this year.
Yeah. So I mean that means 36 pieces of chocolate. So you know you can kind of gauge how many tickets you need based on that.
Exactly.
And I guarantee you that every year we have a lot of people who are real disappointed because they didn't get a ticket. So get in there early and get your ticket. Go ahead.
It's one of the reasons why we added the VIP event on the Friday night, is that we did have so many people not being able to serve all of the chocolate, but it's like adult Halloween, actually.
Yeah, it really is. And I definitely want to do that. The other thing that Lindsay mentioned is the Christmas tree lighting. And if you've been to Old Town during Christmas, you'll notice that we're kind of expanding the light display down there. Well, we're taking it to the next level this year, and we'll light it all up that night.
Oh, terrific.
And it'll actually be an expanded lighting display that is to music, and it'll actually be a light show. So definitely come down and see that. That's going to be really exciting. And our partners on that is Yavapai Broadcasting, and they are just fantastic partners when it comes to our lighting program. So with that, let me turn to Casey. And as Casey knows, and certainly Lindsay knows, we've won a couple of statewide awards for all the economic development that is occurring in Old Town. Talk a little bit about those, Casey.
Yeah, we've won 2 awards this year. And before that, it had been several years before we won those kind of awards. One is the Economic Development Award for innovative economic development, and a lot of it had to do with Old Town and how we've revitalized Old Town. And the other one was Tourism Award. So it's both of them are the Governor's Economic Development Award and the Governor's Tourism Award. And we did invite the Governor to Walking on Main. I'm not sure if she's going to be able to make it or not, but we're getting support from the state government in terms of acknowledgement of what we're doing in our community. So, you know, Doug, you and I both know that when we walked down the street 5-6 years ago, things were boarded up, and you know, there were a couple anchors and the tavern grill and that sort of thing. Those are anchors, but there was a lot of blight and a lot of bad stuff going on. And now you walk down the street and it's beautiful. You know, there's a lot of people walking around having a good time. So we're being acknowledged with these awards. We are also being acknowledged in terms of marketing and publicity. You know, every other day I'm seeing a different article that's written up somewhere. We, in the last edition of Sunset Magazine, there was an article on Old Town Cottonwood. And just recently in Wine Spectator magazine. Wine Spectator is the premier magazine for enthusiasts of wine throughout the world. It would be like a home and garden magazine for gardeners or people who like to dress up their home or something like that. This is for the wine industry. So having an article in there about what we're doing in our community sends a message not just to us, but to the whole world that Cottonwood exists. So, you know, those are just some of the neat things that are going on with marketing and awards. So we continue to be acknowledged as creative people in the state of Arizona. And I thank Lindsay for helping with that whole transition, and Doug for just being supportive of that whole thing and walking up and down the street every day and encouraging people to do these kind of things. But you know, I don't forget about the other side of our economy at the same time. We have identified sectors in our economy that are really important. And we can't forget about those sectors. And those sectors that we've identified, in addition to viticulture and enology and the wine industry, agriculture. We've got a lot of people in Cottonwood and throughout the whole Verde Valley, they're into agriculture. So we're working on that side of our economy. We look at it as economic development, growing the agricultural industry. And the wine industry proved to us that it can be a big moving part of our economy. We also have identified medical. You know, the Verde Valley, Cottonwood is the center of the medical industry in the Verde Valley. It's a big industry. We've got 800 to 1,000 employees that are working just at the Verde Valley Medical Center. So you start looking at all the doctors' offices and nurses and doctors that are in this community, it's a big part of our economy. Light manufacturing is part of our sector strategy, energy, and another part of our economy that's really strong that we need to nurture is the entrepreneurial environment that we've got in our community. We've got a lot of entrepreneurs that are working in their homes. And that leads me to our Business Assistance Center that we have in Old Town. The Business Assistance Center is there to help small entrepreneurs grow their own business and the economy of Cottonwood. So we're always working with entrepreneurs. Every day we've got people coming in to use our space. They can use our Wi-Fi, our office, our conference room. So if you're working from home and you've got your own business and you have to entertain a client rather than doing it in your home, you can come to our Business Assistance Center and do that. So we've got different sectors of the economy. Old Town is a lot of fun. It's an emerging part of our economy. But there's also the medical and the light manufacturing and the entrepreneurial side of our business. It's economic gardening. It's taking what we've got in our economy and growing it. So those are some of the other things we're working on in the community.
Let's go ahead and take our second break, and then we'll come back. And I really want to talk a little more about that concept, Casey, and you know, the impact that Old Town has on the rest of our community. Okay. So come back and join us.
Meet the team at Arizona Smile Designers, offering complete comprehensive, restorative, and aesthetic dentistry. Dr. Vergara and Dr. Lord specialize in dental health, implants, and cosmetic dental procedures. Expert staff and state-of-the-art equipment bring forth the most from your smile. Dr. Ripplinger conveniently comes to Arizona Smile Designers for oral surgery and complicated procedures. Visit Arizona Smile Designers at 350 South Willard in Cottonwood. Insurance and new patients are welcome. Call 634-8610.
Thousands of fires across the United States are caused by careless people. Hi, I'm Fire Marshal Rick Contreras with the Cottonwood Fire Department. The major threat of human-caused fires are from burning debris that get out of control or improperly extinguished or unattended campfires. Remember that fireworks have no place on our wild lands. Become part of the solution. Learn more about proper fire safety by contacting the local fire department.
Welcome back to Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host, Doug Bartosh, and I'm here with Lindsay Higginson, our president of the Old Town Association, and Casey Rooney, our economic development manager. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about all our other economic kind of sectors in the city. And one of the things that I know when I moved up here and I talked to people about where I was living now, a lot of people didn't know where Cottonwood was. And it seems like through the development of Old Town, we're beginning to get a lot more recognition that Cottonwood is here. And so how does that impact the rest of our city?
Well, I look at Old Town as, definitely economic development, but I look at it as a part of economic development called quality of life. To attract businesses to our community, to attract doctors to the medical center, we have to have a good quality of life, and that's kind of a foundational thing that we've been doing over the last 5-6 years, is working on that quality of life. When the economy tanked in Arizona, Old Town took off, and we've been on this trajectory in Old Town that's amazing. So when people come to our community that have never been here before, now they're finding out that we have Old Town that they didn't know about before. They come and they look at it and they go, this is the kind of quality of life that we want, that my family wants, my husband or wife wants, to attract them to the community. So it really has been a good quality of life factor that helps grow the rest of the economy throughout Cottonwood. So when people come to the community, they're thinking about that entrepreneurial business on the outside of town. They'll come into Old Town and they just decide that it's a good quality of life, it's a fun place to be, it's got the kind of things that I need to be happy in a community. This is one of those foundational things that's really important.
And certainly the rec center was another big piece of that, and making sure we had safe streets, people felt comfortable being out at night and those kind of things. And you're absolutely right. It is quality of life. And when you get people up here from Phoenix, particularly younger people that I've met, they are just really impressed with the quality of life up here. And they want to, God, I'd love to buy a second home up here. I'd love to move up here. Yeah. And so that's a positive for our local economy.
And we see those people every day. Yesterday, Doug and I were walking people from the Arizona Republic, two gentlemen, through Old Town who are writing an article on Old Town. We mentioned Kimber Lanning from Local First Arizona. She brought up a group of people, about 10 people, that stayed in the Tavern Hotel and overnight, and we toured them around, and they were interested in the tourism side of our economy. And they just loved Old Town. And that's what we're finding. Everybody that comes up here is really enjoying it, and they can see themselves living in our community after they visit that. So it's bringing up an interesting demographic. A lot of times it's a younger demographic. It's people with disposable income that spend money in our community. So we really like that. Yeah. And we want it to be friendly to the citizens of our community. It's not just for people from out of town, but the people in Phoenix are hearing about it and they're coming up here in droves. And it's really encouraging. Doug and I and Lindsay can all relate to this. when we walk down the street, we stick our head out the door of our offices, and it's always so encouraging to see a bunch of people walking down the street, because we didn't used to see that.
Right.
You used to be able to shoot a cannon down the street and not hit anything, and now you might wipe out about 25 people. I wouldn't want to do that, but that's how encouraging it is.
You know, and that's a good point. And the number of people who come up here to visit us who are involved in the tourist industry. And last week, I toured around a group from the Office of Tourism, and they represented countries such as England, Germany, and Canada. And we've had people from Mexico, from Spain, and so it's not only Arizona and even nationally that we're advertising Cottonwood to, it is really internationally that we're getting recognized.
Yeah, and when you look at those people that are coming in and they're staying in hotels or spending a lot of money on a hotel room, then they're going to Pillsbury and they're spending a lot of money on wine. What's the average price? What does the average person spend when they come into your store? Have you determined that?
You know, it's under $100. However, yeah, really,
it's under $100. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is, and it's growing all of the time. And we oftentimes see people coming in and they're on an exploratory trip to see what this is all about. Yeah. I think the greatest part about Cottonwood, Old Town Cottonwood, is you have to drive all the way through Cottonwood to get to Old Town, which I think is a real plus.
So you stop, you buy gas, you stop at the grocery stores, you see other shops and go, wow, I'd like to stop there. So
absolutely,
it's getting people here, and I think that's the engine that Old Town has created. It's getting more people here to experience all of Cottonwood, not just Old Town.
Yeah, and those same people that are buying $100 worth of wine at Lindsay's place are buying $100 worth of olive oil at the olive oil traders, and they're going and buying bread at Orion Bakery. You know, so everything just feeds on itself. Another thing I wanted to mention was that the Old Town Jail is now ready to be leased. So that is going to be a connection, a really neat connection. It's a historic building. It's going to be a connection to the Verde River. It's a connection to Old Town. And from my perspective, the success of Old Town revolves around food, wine, antiques, boutique type industries. And we've also got a law office in Old Town that hires probably 10, 12 attorneys. We've got a cabinet manufacturing company that's got employees.
Real
so
estate.
It's not, we've got real estate. So it's really a diversified economy in Old Town, which is kind of neat.
Doug, I think one of the important things too now is one of the marketing handles we have is we are Arizona's new destination trip. And people are excited. There's someplace new to go.
Right.
And it's worth the trip.
Yep. You know, and this is reflected in our another way in our economy, in that we're seeing a significant increase in the amount of new development. Last year, I think the evaluation, or maybe it was the year before, evaluation of new property being built, new developments being built, was down around $2-3 million. We're now up over $12 million in new development, and that's not just commercial. We're also seeing residential being revitalized, and so that's a positive thing. And again, it's these people coming here, experiencing Cottonwood, and saying, wow, this is a great place. Yeah. And it's really not just Cottonwood, it's the Verde Valley. People are saying, wow, this is a hidden treasure.
People want to be part of a successful venture, and that's what we're creating here. This morning I had a meeting with two gentlemen from the Arizona Commerce Authority. So they came up from Phoenix, they stayed at the Tavern Hotel, and then we did a walking tour of Old Town, and we did kind of a little mini SWOT analysis at Crema Cafe this morning for breakfast. We looked at the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of Cottonwood. Not only Cottonwood, but the whole Verde Valley. And we identified redevelopment as a strength, Yavapai College as a strength, Old Town as a strength. We looked at weaknesses too. We looked at State Route 260. We looked at that as a weakness and an opportunity because that's going to hopefully be widened. So we all need to get behind that. Lack of industrial space in the community was perceived as a weakness. Our data network, you know, some people have problems if you're in outlying communities. We need to up that. Opportunities, the Arizona Commerce Authority people I met with mentioned incubators. Then I took them over to the Business Assistance Center and showed that to them. They talked about science technology for small entrepreneurial people working out of their homes. 260 was an opportunity. Threats, labor. We got to continue to educate and create creative people in our community.
And some of that is getting our kids who go away to college to want to come back here. And it comes full circle to that issue of quality of life.
Exactly.
Is there going to be something for them to do here that keeps them here and makes them want to stay here? So we're out of time, unfortunately, and I know we can all talk on this issue forever, but it's looking up here in Cottonwood, and a lot of that has to do with you know, just making Cottonwood a recognized place to come to. And a lot of that has been through the Old Town area, through the wine industry, through all the great things that are going on down there. So I think we're on a great path, and we've still got a long ways to go. But if you haven't been down there, come join us, and a good time is Walking on Main, November 10th, or the Chocolate Walk, which is also the same day as the Christmas parade. So go to the parade and then come down and join us at Chocolate Walk and the lighting of the tree that night.
And go to oldtown.org for your tickets.
There you go. Good point. Get those Chocolate Walk tickets. You'll be disappointed if you don't. Thanks for joining us on Inside Cottonwood, and we'll see you soon.